Welcome back to Plastered by Simpson. Today is episode 13 with Seth White again. All right. Seth obviously runs our waterproofing division, and so it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say today. First off, let's just talk about waterproofing in general, the types of waterproofing you like, what you might be skeptical of, but let's just start with my problem, my personal problem, which is a long list. I get that, but my cellar is underground, and we dug it out. And then we just put all kinds of things on it. So let's just start with, we put bentonite on it first, and then we end up putting, I think, hot on the top of it, finally to make it stop leaking. But give me that scenario that people might find themselves in, underground waterproofing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of choices out there. You have your residential stuff that's just a spray on. The fallacy I typically see in that's not in the product, but in the application, tends to be that the people that spray that on don't seem to mind what's there. And I think that's what might happen a little bit to us out there is, there's dirt and there's mud and there's water, and we're just trying to get it done and get it backfilled. And so it gets covered up, and you put it over things that shouldn't be over, causing problems. And that's kind of where the bentonite came in, is we can put the bentonite on, not underwater, but in a slightly damp situation. You can put it on as long as you backfill it immediately, and it kind of helps forego the process of having to have it perfectly clean. And so that's why we chose that bentonite system over there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So obviously you got surface prep means everything at some level with waterproofing.
And all the waterproofings, that's all of it. And that's what typically makes or breaks a job. It's not necessarily the different products. It's how clean you can get it, how dry you can get it, and the temperatures outside, which plays a big role as well.
I mean, your surface prep obviously is one of those things that I think typically gets lost between trades, right? So the concrete guy doesn't have it because he just poured the concrete. The guy digging the hole doesn't have it. We don't have it. So it's one of those kind of pieces that gets lost a lot of times. So concrete guy sends his guys out there, says, come on, hurry up, get off the job. We send ours out there and say, hurry up, get that thing done. Right. And that kind of falls into that hole a lot of times, I think.
A typical argument on a job site is who's cleaning that up, who's getting it ready. We don't like taking responsibility for it simply because we don't know what it's going to be. So if we take responsibility, all of a sudden it gets a lot worse.
Right. And that's one of those things where it really is where a general contractor plays such a vital role, or doesn't play a vital role at all, and you got future problems coming in. And that's why the GCs are so important to us. That really is their main role, is coordination. Because most of them don't have any skills anymore when it comes to installing, right?
Right.
I don't think that's bad to say about most general contractors, but I think that's true. Most of them.
I didn't know where you're going. I didn't know where you're going there for a minute.
Concrete. That's really the only thing they'll do. Like some of the GCs will have a concrete.
Yeah, some of them have some concrete ability.
I know a GC down in South Florida has a Access sister company.
Mm-hmm.
They do only access on their jobs.
Yeah. So, all right. So that would be bentonite. Bentonite's a clay, right?
Yeah. So granular. I mean, it's a Western clay dug, mined out west, and it has swelling properties, a lot like clay around Alabama and the South, Mississippi, how you see a field and it's just holding water sitting on top of red clay. Kind of that's how the bentonite works, just a little better. It swells when it gets wet, and water can't penetrate it.
Huh.
So
is that what they put in the bottom of ponds too?
It's the exact same product in the bottom ponds. They take granular bentonite and put on the pond. Well, the same thing what I just said. They take granular bentonite, or if that, sometimes they'll just literally take red clay and walk it in.
Oh, really?
Into the bottom of the pond, so it'll hold water.
Yeah, and bentonite can go in loose. You can pour it in, or you can have sheets that are tacked up on the wall.
And that's slick too.
Whew. Yeah, it is slick.
Talk about slipping.
Slippery when wet.
Yeah, very slippery. All right, so your other option would be to just go with a hot applied tar style liquid material, right?
Yeah, I mean, in a typical garden situation, you have liquid applieds that are cold. You have peeling sticks. The one that started all bitch thing from Grace, and then all the companies have come along since, and then they have urethanes that are liquid applied that are cold, and then you have the hots, which I put the hots up there. Some of the best waterproofing systems out there. They seem to be bulletproof. They hold up and can hold, take dirt, take pavers, take whatever you throw at them.
Hot applied, just for people that don't know like me, is what?
Just it's hot rubberized asphalt that you melt down in the kettle and install on the deck, and different millages, 195 or 215 mil reinforced. Just that's kind of the system.
And it's been around forever.
Yeah,
the hot applied's been around forever,
long time.
So yeah. So to me, hot applied's what you see Andy Dufresne put on the roof at what's my movie? Shawshank Redemption.
So I will say, I forgot about new technology now. Pumas are becoming a big thing, which don't even make me say what it is. It's a polyurethane methacrylate or something. I don't know. It's a modified product that is a really tough product. It's easy to install. It cures extremely fast. And so a lot of these manufacturers go into that for their detail work, especially with the hot, instead of using some kind of reinforcing sheet that you might get a wrinkle. You're painting this liquid on there, and just real tough product.
I think I'm seeing a lot of that on balcony work.
It is crazy where you're at in Tampa. Almost every job has Puma on it. I mean, you can use Puma for the whole system.
Yeah.
They tend to mix them due to the cost. So use Puma around all the transitions and then put hot, but Puma everywhere. Works great.
Yeah. South Florida's big
Puma market.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that kind of talks about just sealing something underground. Let's take the Puma system and kind of run a little bit. Some of that's really deck coating, right?
Yeah.
But you're using that for
it can go like a hot applied, like a waterproofing system, or it can be a trafficable system. That's right. It goes both ways, like a deck coating, but fancier.
Huh.
Costs fancier too.
Yeah. That's that.
What's the cheapest one, or cheaper system than like a Puma?
Anything. It's cheaper than Puma.
Puma's the most expensive.
Yeah, that's the most expensive system. I mean, if you're talking coatings like deck coatings and, just your urethane deck coatings are cheaper, and then you come up to your polyureas, and then you come to your Pumas. And so that's kind of how it goes. And they tend to warrant them as such too. Deck coating, the better you pay and the higher the warranty.
And that's true with EIFS too. The more EIFS products you put on the wall, the longer your warranty. If you add air barrier, you get 5 years. Right. Elastomeric, another 2 years, whatever it is going to be. And each manufacturer kind of honors that differently.
What's the highest warranty you can get on a traffic deck coating system?
I mean, all we've gotten typically is a 5-year for the urethanes. I think with the Pumas now, they're letting you get 10. They may even go 15. It's so new. I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I know 10. So.
All right. What about the new thing that we're seeing? I actually saw some the other day. I think it was in Chattanooga that I saw it, because I was kind of surprised. Are these live decks? They seem to be getting hotter and hotter, and picking up more and more, seeing with plants on them and all that. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Tell me about that whole world. What's that about? Hey guys, we're going to interrupt the episode real quick just to tell you that Element has sponsored Plastered by Simpson. We're pretty excited about it. I'm super excited about it. For a long time, I've used this product. It's great for our guys in the field because it's a hydration electrolyte drink. Superb. It's pretty clean. There's not a lot of other stuff in it other than salt. Flip side of that is, when you get old and fat like me, you need it for fasting. So it's great to keep your fast going as well. So guys in the field use it for hydration. Guys in the office use it during our fast and hydrate as well. And so it's a great product. We're super excited about those guys coming on board. Back to the episode.
It's just the new wave of green and being, green and earth and providing aesthetics and outdoor feels on buildings and downtown scapes and streetscapes and so forth. And, typically you're going to see the Pumas and Hots with those as the waterproofing system. And, we literally got asked the other day down in New Orleans, hey, can you put the garden wall up? And so the actual plants on the trellises and so forth that come up out of the waterproofing. Well, it's a green wall. The wall's literally growing.
Oh,
like you have an emblem.
Yeah.
That You know, it could say Simpson. It could say LMNT, and in plants on the wall.
Huh. That's cool.
Just
Yeah.
different type plants to make it different
The
colors.
green roofs are cool though.
But one, he's talking about his green wall, but we're talking
Yeah.
about, we see green roofs more and more and
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
But you have those things where you put your waterproofing system down and pavers or even wood. We've seen some like teak wood floors.
IPA pavers, big
Yeah.
thing, and then concrete pavers, some mixes. Now we're starting to see a lot of mixes of artificial turf with pavers on top of hot. Just kind of trying to give everything to give you that outdoor nature feel.
Yeah, that seems to be the new trend. Pavers, turf, grass, trees. In that case, kind of crazy. What about the roots in those systems?
That's a big deal. We're involved in one just due to legal reasons. I won't mention which one, but there's a big job that another contractor did, and they didn't put any root barrier, and now the roots over a couple of years have grown into the waterproofing system. They will grow into the asphalt. Apparently they kind of like it, and cause a lot of leaks. And so we're down rehabbing or fixing to rehab that. We've done part of it, and got to go in there and stop those roots from growing by using simple root barriers that prevent the roots from growing into the roofing.
What is the root barrier?
You know, it's actually pretty simple, and that's what's crazy. They didn't use it. It's just a heavy duty polyethylene, basically. And it stands up underground because it's not getting any UV, and apparently the roots don't like it. So, it's not like it's some herbicide. Now, I think there are some, but there's no herbicides or anything. It's just a heavy duty plastic.
Interesting.
And not having that plastic is going to cost
gazillion dollars. Oh yeah, I feel for everybody involved in it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to help resolve that and get it put back, and hopefully we'll get it all to go away and everybody be happy.
Yeah, it's always tough. I mean, and some of those things are hard. Again, it goes back to general contractor design and installer all kind of coming together because it's such a minor piece, but when forgotten,
really expensive.
It's over. It's a really expensive fix.
Before you put that overburden on there, you better know you have it. And, you're flood testing, and now we have electronic leak detection like ELD. That literally will pinpoint the head of a needle. If it penetrates that membrane, you can locate that and stop it before you ever let it get backfilled with dirt and so forth, because it's a big deal once you're digging it up. And that's one thing we're facing down there. We're going to have to test everything to find all the places, then come back and test it a second time to show that we fixed everything that was damaged in the first place.
And then a lot of times those fixes, you got to figure out how not to make more damage while trying to fix, because you got to get into it.
Where do you stop?
Yeah.
We were telling them that the contractor's excavating, and we said, well, be careful. Every time you hit it right on the edge, we got to go a little further. And you got to go a little further and keep on covering what you're doing so you don't keep having damage to cover.
That to me is the biggest problem when you come into these EIFS and stucco issues. Everybody wants to go do destructive testing. They love destructive testing. But once you start tearing it up, getting it back, you might have created far more problems than what you actually had to start with. A lot of times a minor fix turns into a catastrophic idea.
I think a lot of that particular job I'm discussing, I think a lot of the damage that I saw when I was down there last was from literally the excavation. You could see where they'd hit the sides or hit the edges and have torn it. So who's to say much of it was even damaged when they initially pulled it out?
Right. And I've run into that on a high rise in Florida, where we went down to look at our work and the problems we had, and they were showing me this window and all the water coming inside, and I was upset. And I kind of get inside, I look at it and say, man, I think it's leaking like crazy. But getting around the outside, it looks pretty good. The window had a kind of a foam shape at the bottom, and we pulled that shape off. We realized about halfway down the shape, it's a different foam, and it's a different base coat than the other, where they'd already tested that corner and put it back. And so they had a little leak in the corner to start with, and they put it back. It's a massive leak. Yeah. And now all of a sudden all the lawyers are involved, and all the engineers that work for lawyers are involved, because some of those guys aren't even real engineers. I don't mind telling the whole world that. Those guys are just testimony guys who get in there and, testify in court for the lawyers. And so, once that starts, it's over.
Yeah. I was impressed on this job. We had a female lawyer on site when we did our site visit, and man, she was jumping right in the hole, looking with us. She wanted to know what we were talking about. It's pretty impressive.
It's like that landman girl.
Yeah, she was curious as what was going on. It was good.
It's always good when the experts try to get into it and really know it and understand it, not just sit back and have someone tell them. I've been on many a job where the engineer's on the swing yelling down to the people on the ground, "Oh, it leaks up here." You're just kind of like, "Oh, here we go."
I think she was on the defense side, so she was definitely trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
So she was, but she was in the hole. That's not normal.
All right. Well, that's a good rundown of some of the waterproofing we got going on. But let's talk about this real quick before we get out of here. Caulking, standard caulking that people see all the time. Everybody wants to paint it. Everybody wants to be the best stuff out there. Let's talk about the kinds and the differences in them.
All right. Try to be quick. You have latexes. That's your typical white lightning type product you're going to pick up, or DAP you pick up at Home Depot. They have limited movement capabilities. They're paintable. They're pretty good in the sun. But they're more suited for inside because of the limited movement capability. So you want a controlled environment. And then after that, you step up to urethanes, and urethanes were the next, iteration, whatever you want to call it, the next step in designing, figuring out sealants. And so the urethanes are paintable, have a less, not very good UV stability long term. I mean, they're great in the short term. They're pretty good if you paint over them because they're keeping the sun off of them. And then you go from there, you're stepping up to silicones, and the silicones, 20-year warranty type product in the sun. Now, the problem with the silicones is they're not paintable, and they come in limited colors unless you want to pay for custom colors. And then, now we're seeing a huge growth in hybrids, seal-terminated polyurethane, seal-terminated polyethers, and these are kind of the best of both worlds. Longer lives. The chemists have figured out literally how to tie the end of a molecule where sun won't degrade it take urethane and put a little silicone on the end of the molecule. So it's still paintable, but yet it stops I don't understand the chemistry of it, but it stops the degradation of it due to UV. And so that's kind of where it's really headed. And I think in the next 10 years, you're going to see, it's like now everything's silicone and urethane. In 10 years from now, maybe even sooner, it's going to be all hybrid products.
Yeah. And we're running, and the technology is running way ahead of us these days in terms of products we're seeing and things we're seeing. This is pretty interesting.
We're seeing the price of the hybrids come down as they get more and more widely used. And so once that hits a point where it's as economical to use as the urethanes, I think the urethanes will be out. Yeah. And the hybrids will take off.
Yeah.
Always be a place for a latex caulk around the door frame in the house or something like that. And, always be a place for a silicone outside of a building too. Yeah. But I think the hybrids are the future.
Yeah. Well, so I would say, I'm glad you made it today. Everyone listening gets to get a little bit of advice from who I deem to be the best waterproofer in the country. It's easy to always have Seth in. Got questions you want Seth to answer? Send them to us. We'll get them answered for you. We got a couple of questions on range screen. We're going to get to an answer one day here pretty soon. We'll do an episode where we just answer questions and see things that go on.
We got quite a bit of questions on range screen.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is these tabletops everybody seems to be very interested in. There's no tabletop here at all. It's just a big metal frame. Just want y'all to know that, to be clear. It seems to be getting some attention from people in general. And so there it is. That's all it is. It's just a steel rail.
Yep.
So that's it. You got anything else? Any other tidbits of information people should know on waterproofing?
No. Can't think of anything.
Well, thanks for watching episode 13. Please like, comment, subscribe. Everything you do helps us keep growing.